In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep.
Just a little longer, please. My friends and I, well, our party's almost over. Why don't you stay a little longer, please? I need you back. I need you better. I need you back that I could kill. Just stay. I need you back. I need you better.
Could you believe that the whirlwind that will blow and tornado blow down your house it is a celestial body. It belongs. You can calm it when it comes. You can tell it to sit. But first, because the Anunnakis and the men that carry the Ankh have left the knowledge behind, they have written books and tell you who you can call, okay, and ask for help if the wind is blowing too strong. They leave knowledge behind like that. Some churches have that knowledge, and that church is in Rome. That the Anunnakis was here, they bear the record that they was here. So now there's angels that control all of these things, and their god bodies that control whirlwind, tornadoes, hurricane. And I'm saying that if you have the power that you know, that one you can call on him, who blows the south wind and the north wind. Boris is the one that blow the north wind. That's one of my favorite ones out there. He blow the north wind. Natas is to blow. Natas blows the south wind. And then people say that this is just as in Greek mythology. I can tell you who do these things, Rasta, but remember, some of these things was hidden from the third eye for a very long time. Who want you to know that Boris is the angel out there who blowing the north wind, Rasta? People do not want you to know. People do not want you to know that there's an angel. He's the swiftest angel out of them. He carries feather on his. He carries feather on the back of his heel. Man, I can bring him up, and I'm gonna have to clarify. But now that I'm thinking of it, there's also an angel that's called Nike. Nike. You know, like the Nike sign on Nike? And it's something to do with victory. How can Nike take that and use it and back in it? That is good. And how comes you can't use one and back one too? Know the angel by name, man. Know the earth is an entity. Heaven. The earth belongs. The earth is not excluded. It belongs to Jah.
Ethiopia.
Rastafari.
To the lineage of
You
Deity.
belongs to Jah.
And God of himself come down to that bloodline as he did before this time zone. Give thanks Rastas, give thanks brethren, give thanks sisters. And everybody know that that is the depiction that Jah of himself have made and have depicted. So let's take a journey right now. Let's say a prayer, okay? Let's do a prayer first so that we won't go off track or we won't be misled. We want the Christian community up there to follow us too as well, okay? But this is BS. This knowledge It's for everybody that needs the truth. Because we're basing on what the third eye wants to know. Inside need to know things and we don't know. I don't want to take time to deal with all of that, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get down to the fact of who was Jah Rastafari. Who was God? Who was the man who made the heavens and the earth? Where did he come from? Did he have a mother? Did he have a father? We need to find out all of these things. So I'm going to try to unearth some things here today. So we're going to start in Genesis, okay? Genesis, we're going to say a prayer first before we do anything again. Father, bless this and set this. Let this be right. And let this be the truth. And let this be source to those out there who needs to know the truth of civilization and humanity as to do with creation or Jah. Open up the third eye. Help the pineal gland to see through time and through distance. Help me to see through the pyramid, to unfold the pyramids to the people, Father. Help me to explain all of these creatures that was down on the planet before us as man, and they will say after or Jah. Help me to unfold all of these things. Empower me. Send me the angel to empower me to do these works, Father. I'm going to call down on the angel of the Lord God. I'm going to call on the one who is like unto God to be here with me today. His name is Michael. He's the archangel. Translation, he is the one who is like God. That is God's kindness. And I'm also going to ask Gabriel to come here with me in power and LF1 Rasta Colony here today to help me to translate these things and we have clearer understanding. Okay, so this is what they're saying in the translation, and Gabriel he represents strength, transformation of God, power and justice. So we asking for power and justice to be here, and also for the healing force to come and take place, which is Raphael. We asking him to be here too as well, and we asking Metatron to accompany us here as well, because Metatron, he keeps and watch over all the guardians, or who sits behind the throne of heaven. God, heavenly scribe, recording the deeds of all man that have done in the earth and in heaven and in all of creation. Metatron, be here with us today and help us to unfold all of these things. So, give thanks and praises to Jah. The program is open. And Rastafari is going to go into books to document all of these things and to bring these things to light, because in today's society we have to know these things. We can't play that we go into heaven and they don't know who is ruling or controlling heaven, right? They don't know if it is Yahweh, they don't know if it is Elohim, they don't know if it's Ptah, they don't know. So let's start the program now. We're gonna go into Genesis. In the beginning God created the heavens and the earth was without form and void and dark, and darkness was upon it, and God moved on the face of the water. Okay, and God said, let there be, first thing, light. Let there be light, and there was light.
And he made the firmament and divided the waters under the firmament. Under the firmament, he divided the waters under the firmament, which was above the firmament, and it was so. Jah divided the firmament, and God called the firmament heaven, and in the evening and in the morning were the second day. Okay, a God and move the firmament. But what I want people to know, the firmament was down below and it was up top, but it was separated. So above is so below. We're going all the way back to the stars in Egypt to do with the pyramids. Just before that,
and we're going to talk about the earliest form of the Divine Father, which is in books related to do with the pygmy Ptah. One of his titles is the Father of Fathers, which indicate that fatherhood that was founded on the oldest brother. He's the pygmy Ptah, also likened unto his majesty. Hence, one, his title is the Father of Fathers, which indicates the fatherhood that was founded and the eldest brother. And in the sense of that, Ptah, the older brother was Crystal, okay, but Ptah, he did not attain the status of Re. Okay? So Ptah was the god in Egypt as far as the depiction that we have has captured. Now you can go and look this up on the English Encyclopedia. You can go and look up Ptah and tell me what information did you get on Ptah, okay? He was a very small man. They try to put it as a very small image, and his image all the time is in black. Why is Ptah image in black? Why was him called a pygmy? Why was he depicted as that? Okay, that is African. Rasta. That is African. Okay. So we gotta go bear some records now. We gotta bear the light of the world here now. This is from the light of the world. These is books from the light of the world. Ptah is the father, the son, atom from, he formed atom from plastic clay, okay? He formed Adam. He made man on the potter's wheel. Archetypal man was made. His son, as his son, Atum, meaning Adam. The archetype that has been taken from Atum. He was made out of plastic clay. So that means that plastic is not new, Rasta. You don't understand? These things ain't nothing new. You hear you go to the doctor and they give you plastic surgery. Where did the analogy of that came from, Rasta? You have to understand. So Ptah, we're going to get a link to Ptah as to find out the truth on the hieroglyphs on the walls in Egypt. There's a lot to this, but we're going to just try to explain the first father, right? And we're in the book of Genesis. So, to do with, Ptah was God on earth, because we're going into the Hebrew book of Genesis. We're going into the Hebrew Genesis. He became the seventh soul of Ra, and the seven elements or the seventh soul of men. I went to men's in making in the name of Amenta. Elohim is the man that things was rendered unto. Okay? The evolution of men, according to the Egyptian doctrine, was of 7 souls. And biblically speaking, this is the 7 spirits, okay? Of God, of the oneness, of the seven crystals that the one that sits at the right hand carries. The 7th crystal that he holds in the Holies of Holies, standing right next to Jah. So bear this in mind on this program. 7 Rastafari is a special number. Okay? So we go back to Atum. He was the first. The Atum was the first. So we're going to get the knowledge from Egypt. So we can understand the Bible and we can understand the Hebrew Bible so that we don't take nothing out of context. Okay? So we don't take nothing out of context. You know the Bible said that your first father have sinned, right? And when we talk about the first father sin, these souls of light have been identified and divinized in the technology, in mythology actually, in the soul of wrath as the fish of Sabak. So in this Sabak, so Sabak is to do for ram, or Abraham had a son and his son was, he had to sacrifice the Sobek instead of his son. It's a ram. It's related to a Sobek. Okay? A Sobek. Alright? Let's get back to Ptah. The creeping coot. You know? The creeping coot. It's something like a beetle. A smaller beetle. It came already in Egypt in the form of a god. Okay? It came already as the form of a god. So notice the connection of Ptah and the Egyptian wisdom have pointed that he was God. He was the one that formed man from clay. He made the 7 constituent part of man. So that the limbs were formed as co-workers. You understand? Or there could be in creating man, in the 2nd chapter of Genesis, God succeed the Elohim, and Egyptian deity Yahu was the son of Ptah, the oneness of the Father in the Son. You got to understand the oneness in the Father of the Son. With the Son as a representative of the Father. These things happen already. The Son is a representative of the Father. We need to understand that the Son is a representative of the Father. Right? And this is in the culture of Ptah in Memphis. The oldest Egyptian type of a creator is a molder. That's a potter. A molder, the person that put clay, that is what man is made out of. That's why when man died, man must return back to where he comes from. The dirt. Alright. That is what God took to form man, the matter earth. Okay? Sometime called the son of Canu is likewise the divine pattern. He's like the divine pattern, okay? Isaiah will tell you all of this. He's portrayed as the pattern, or like Phile, in the act of healing plastic clay upon the potter's table, from which he's about to form man, which he turned and sketched in the likeness of the child Horus or the child Kri. The child Kri is like likened unto the man. Now previously the goddesses and previously the gods and goddesses were shapes like zoo type or like animal type. Canu was ram-headed. He had a ram head, and there was, and also a beetle head was depicted, right? And these people was also known as God, but these are the people that was in control before Ptah, and then Ptah came and controlled after. If people say Ptah is a cult, Ptah was dealing with culture. The Negroid pygmy, he's African, so they're going to try to put it that he was dealing with all of these things so that we won't know these things. But he wasn't. He was dealing with culture, people. Up until the time of Ptah. Ptah was the first human likeness of divinity. Horus, he was the first divinity in perfect human form. The rest was in animals. Horus, write down his name. Write his name down. Okay? Egyptian Atum. He is the original. Through Adam. Through the atom of Adam. It's a mythical representation. He took him from the earth to form him. It's mystical, people, Rasta, understand. It's not ordinary, it's Jah that doing these things. From a lump of clay or plastic. You gotta understand these things. It's nothing new. The associate God, the Ali, or the Elohim, the creator, create the sight of the eye and the hearing of the ears, the breathing of the nostrils, and he sent up that which give pleasure to Ptah, to Jah. So what gives you pleasure, give Jah pleasure too. So Jah want you to be happy and have money and be happy, Rasta. Understand that? This is what Jah want, your desires. So desire good so that everything can be good. The first creation was Adam by the Elohim. You don't understand who is Elohim? He's in the first chapters. He put utterance into speaking of the tongue, which put the liberation of the heart in utterance. You have to understand everything of the tongue repeats the deliberation of the heart. So what you're feeling here is what you're seeing here. You understand? And if you're evil, we're gonna know because it's coming from here. He said so. God said so. He gave you the sight, you know. He said the one who gives you the sight, he gave you the name of that one. So you can call on that one too as well. He's the associate God. The peas, your lips, your hands. This is the associate God. This is God bodies on you. This is the members to empower you. As an Adam, as an Atum, the creative man. You was formed in the likeness of Elohim, Allahu, or Yahweh, Elohim. You was made in his depiction. We are in Isaiah chapter 64. It's going to explain all of this to us and let we know. Now we're just the clay and he's the potter, okay? He is the one that is molding us on the table. He's the one who's forming man and making man out of clay. That's where man come from. That's why when you die, you have to return back to the dirt because he made you out of the dirt. You was on his table. And when you was there on his table, you had a family. Because the Godhead that made you have family. We're all God people, we're all one people. That is people that was there before the things that was there before was talking. Okay? So Ptah is who put us on he's who get us as the clay. And he's the potter. His name also came back as Potter. Remember, he was African, he was black, he was also called the pygmy of African descent based on the stem of Egypt. This is to do with the oldest depiction that we can find to do with our maker of who we come from. His name was Ptah. Okay? Ptah was his name. So we can't fail to play that we don't know these things or we don't have any clear understanding on what's happening here. We need to know these things. Who was first called the light into existence? Who was that man? People go in there every day, every Sunday, but they still don't know him by name. Do they know the angel by name that blows the south wind? They don't know these people, okay? But remember, when Ptah's son died, Ptah reincarnate himself again into his son. And it's not the first time that was done. He reincarnate himself and come back again into his as his son. And remember Osiris was the one who was murdered on the on the river bank, right? He was the one that was murdered, right? And Ptah of himself took reincarnation into him, taking over into his body and reincarnated and coming back again through a different name again, but as the all powerful again. But he came back as Horus from Egypt. He is there on the Pharaoh's tomb. This knowledge was sealed up for years. This knowledge was put away. People didn't want people to know about these things, but as Rasta, we gotta know where is life coming from in Genesis. Okay, the earliest Egyptian type is the molder or the potter, right? That is the oldest type. That is the oldest type of creator. The one who is the molder. The one who sits down and spins this thing into something. God of himself is depicted as the potter. He's the potter. God is the potter. You understand? He spins. He spins clay, plastic clay into existence and breathe life into it. So I'm going to explain potter a little bit more so that we get an idea. Isaiah 64:8 will tell you everything. Alright? Before of God, he act on the behalf of God and the Father. He act as the behalf, okay, and the Father. He acts as the Son and as the Father. He acts on both of them behalf, and we know that. We know he acts as this. So we deal with Ptah, okay, and he was responsible as the first God to make man, not the first God. He is who was that one, the one who was responsible for making man. And he says, let's make man in our image, not in his image. Let's make man in my image. Let's make man in our image. It means that he had a family. He had people was there at a depiction just like to do with him. The daughters of God was there, which in his goddess was there. The sons of God was there, which in them is gods too as well. Remember, God had kids, and these kids rebel, and the angels of themselves, they was created 3 days before man, because man was created on the 6th day, and the angels, I think, was created on the 3rd day, right? Even if not on the 3rd day, they was created before man. And the books goes on to say, which in out there in literature, I went and get books to put the facts together. The book of Enoch, okay, tells you that man, it probably says so in Revelation too as well, in Genesis, sorry, the sin against the animals, not Noah, the people before Noah sinned against the animals, okay? It says against the fish, they sin against all of these things, meaning that it was impregnating the animals before man. When these people get to man, to Adam and Eve, they're not the first people, they're not the first thing that these creatures before man trouble. Eve is not the first person, or she's a person, yeah, the first person, yes, but she's not the first thing that these creatures trouble. There was trouble in the fishes before. There was trouble in the birds. There was trouble everything. They had sex with swans.
if you go to Egypt and you go and see some of these same horses, some of these creators, some of these people, you can see that they're depicted with this head, like big round sun ray on their head. Or you can see a depiction depicting a bird head or some ostrich or something to do with beast, to do with lion or dragon head. Why do they always carry these dragon heads? Because that's how it was before. That we said let's make man, because there wasn't no man at that time, but through a bit of his DNA, a little bit of his DNA, because that's why we still like some animal today. We still having that animalistic behavior in us today, because the DNA took to make the Adam, the man, was of animal zoo type. Yes, zoo type. The closest thing to man is what? Chimpanzee, monkey. That is the closest thing to a man. And Rasta, that means something. How can a monkey be the closest thing to the best thing? The best thing had to be, or is very close to monkey. And it is the truth. Our DNA stem was from the zoo type, the animal type, which in the creatures before us used to depict that kind of type. Alright? You have to remember, the creatures before us, they used to depict that kind of animal type. They used to be beetles. They used to carry beetle head. And if you go study ancient Egyptian history, the one that carries beetle head, you will know him by name. And you will know what power he possesses. You will know what dynasty he runs in. Some things I have to leave to the audience to go and do homework and research. I'm unearthing so that all of us will know the truth. Zoo type, animal type, our bloodline, the atom joined animal type, dirt of the earth, spinning on the wheel, clay, dirt, potty, plastic seam, spinning on the potter's clay. God of himself is there unfolding all of this on the clay, okay? To fuse, to make man with his DNA, he make the atom, which is the first man. No, anything that Jah built at that time with that DNA lasts for a very long time. Adam of himself lasts a long time. Those fish last a long time. And anything that had that first creation, anything that had the first creation, which is that breath of life that Jah breathed into creation, not made but created. That bloodline was like a god. That was divinity. Anything that God made there and then was divine. Even if He made your legs is a divine part of your body. It's like a god. Because you can't move without them higher, or unless you want to get people to horse you wrong. Right? So Rasta, we're gonna bear record that man, the atom, having some animal and is closest to the chimpanzee or to the monkey type. That specimen is what mankind is carrying. And I have that in my body. I carry the lion up here like boom. Jah of himself carries this blood in his body, this lion blood, this depiction of the animals. And one of the first God to take on that body of man, to making man out of his image, was a god in Egypt. Okay? Horus was that man, which in Horus' father of himself was the potter, because remember when he was mutilated down by the river, the potter went down there and saw him and reincarnate himself into him, giving him back life again as the son. So he is the father and he is also the son. He is both of them, the omnipotent one. Remember, bloodline being reincarnated through time, and by the time we come past the flood, God of himself is going to reincarnate himself again, because to some depiction that means something in the heavenly realm of reincarnating and making a change. But remember, God is love, and he is yesterday, that's what he was today. So even if you come and acquire something new about him today, he still was that one that your ancestors call on. So you find out his real name and call on him. That is for the power. Okay? Call on Jah for the power. Power is handed unto man, and it was delivered through Michael the Archangel. After the brother died, right, and the sacrifice power wouldn't have been accepted by God. Unto man, King Rasta was man. So they went on living. I told you, he had to find descendant and be with descendant out there. You know, there wasn't nobody out there. Bear in mind, you know, for real, you know, Adam and Eve were the first two, like unto man, being man that God created. As the depiction of man come from earth of Egypt, the depiction first came out of the one who carries a childish kind of thing about himself. The depiction of man came out of him. Let's make man out of our image. He is the one that walked around in Egypt at the time of the same bloodline coming out of Adam, to do with Ramsey and the same Isis and Thorfan. These same people, the one them that walk around with something in their hand that is very significant as Rastas, we should know that these staffs carry powerful meaning and powerful things, right? These people were Zulu-like creatures, and they was on the earth before we, as man, and they put the existence into man. They get the atom. The atom is nothing, mud, clear, beyond man, outside of man. They get the element outside of man, right? And they put the element of man together. And you have to remember that in putting the element of man together, that there was a family going on around down here before we. We as man is not the first beings. The animals was created before we. And the birds was created. The sea was created before us. The angels was created before us. Okay, man needs to get the fact. Not man. Man don't already know, because this is history going on. And we get to find out that modern man came about because of zootype, which is people who was inbred with animal, taking some of their DNA and putting with our DNA, the potter spinning us on the potter's clay, as was said in Isaiah. He made us out of clay and spinned us as he was the creator, and he had a family tree, and he said, come and let us, all of you guys, all of those god and goddess, all of Venus and Olympus and Zeus and whoever you may want to call, I don't know them by name. It may not be those specific ones, but they do have name. Even if you want to call them Zacharias, whoever you want to name them as, there was bodies up there, entities, okay? And because there was zoo type, they had zoo-like children that behave and grow just like them, and there wasn't man, and there was about before us, and they had kids and children, and they had population and civilization that are gone. But them things, because there was those kind of creatures, they used to carry wings too as well, and they could fly. Okay, so some of them don't want to live down here, they just go and live elsewhere. Planet I'm talking about, because it's celestial being. It doesn't have to be here, it can be further down under us too as well. If you go past Earth, you go out into space. There's more space beyond Earth, beyond where we're living here on this planet. You can bypass this planet. Okay, this is not like the last planet. No, the first planet. This is the first. So now I'm talking about all of these creatures, man. These zoo-like creatures that came down. Okay, there's a bunch of creatures that I must depict, because this is how I try to get this program to come to this part, because I must go and depict these creatures. Okay, these people is called the Anunnakis, ladies and gentlemen. These is the Anunnakis here that I got right here in front of you right now. The reason why I have to go and talk about the Anunnakis is that we're talking about the bodies coming from the zoo type before man. Bear that in mind, the zoo type. You have to go and investigate the zoo type. You understand? There was things on feet walking upright before man. These things come down before we. Power to the lion. Hail the lion family. So, the reason why I want to touch the Anunnakis now is that the Anunnakis were very powerful people. Not people, don't bear it in mind, we're not talking about people. They may have had men head or depiction of men, but not men. Not men. Depiction of part this being, to even to do with the same Ankh that the pharaohs used to depict that their god, to do with Isis and Horth and all of these other gods that they depict in Egypt. These people, the Anunnakis, was down here in that time zone. Animal like people, bodies like horse body. Okay, I'm gonna show you, like horse bodies, like a horse. You see, and they have wings, just depicted with wings, meaning that it can fly. And if it can fly, that means it doesn't have to live down here. And if it have a face like that and feet like that, how fast can it run? What can it really do? Nobody knows. Because them people carry different genes, okay? They carry different genes. And they're gonna interbred their genes like they have been doing from start. As I told you, when we start with the father on the potters, with the potter's clay, and more than man, from we talked about that. And these people come back again to hold this position in this time zone, we come back again to see it happen in our time, because the Anunnakis and the people back then from that, they was in the same time zone, not far apart, right? And those people also walk around and carry something that they call an Ankh in their hand. Okay, they have their own Ankh, and you can go and get yourself your own Ankh too as well. Okay, meaning that if you have the Ankh, this is not the Ankh scepter. If you have the Ankh, okay, it states that you have the power to lay down life and to take back up life. Now, who is the one who is like unto God that can do that? This is in mythology. Yes, it is in early mythology, but don't get frightened for the word mythology, Rasta. Don't get frightened for that word. If it is a myth, if it is a myth, that means it's hardly understood. That's all it really means. It is hardly understood. But remember, this is Rasta Colony, you know, and we have great understanding to understand these things. We're revealing the truth. The third eye is working. Okay? These people used to carry these things. This is a scepter. Huh? And they used to carry around the Ankh. Where is your Ankh? You don't have an Ankh. People that is depicted on the walls in Egypt carrying around this specific circular that you can hold inside of the palm of your hand that carries the shape of the cross. But you can hold it, it's like a bag handle, but it's still, it falls back into the wrong circle, but it falls back into the body of a cross. That is called an Ankh, people. An Ankh. That is the name of it. And people that walk around with those, you may see them on the walls in Egypt. Those people are like unto God. You don't understand. They have the power to put down life and to take it back up. Them is gods. Whether you may want to call them demigods or this god, or their entities and bodies of, they was here. They are still alive and still good, because to be an archangel or to be celestial or to be not of this body and this world that we are of, it means that these things and people that they go on living eternally. You understand? Everlasting life can't end. And they said that if you are an angel like that, that you have everlasting life. But remember, the man that give you the life can take it away, which is Jah Rastafari, the creator, which is Elohim. You understand? He have the one, he have the power to take down life and put back up life. The reason why he have the power to take up life and put back up life, I'm going to get to that. I'm going to speak of Yeshua or Jesus, whoever you want to call him as. But let's bear on Rasta Colony record that his name is Yeshua. So therefore we will refer to him either or, but mainly as Yeshua on this program. I'm talking about the man who died for all of our sins on the cross. He is the one who I'm stating here as Lord of Lords on this program. Nobody get it twisted. I ain't putting nobody beyond God. Like I said before, I'm not giving deity to nobody. These is things that is quite clear, like I said, and it's vivid for Rasta to know. So I'm doing the research, and then I'm coming and bring light to Rasta, because Rasta have to know. And even if the big old Rastas don't want to know and them vex, the little children want to know too. Or even if them don't want to know, these people don't want to know Rasta, because this is a different time. The truth. You know, see, a Jah Rastafari give me the scepter here to carry in my hand, and to go on and disclose these books. So I dare for these things, I do these things. Just do these things. As Jah know, I study the word to come out and be approved, and to don't come and spread no propaganda to the people. I bear these records, Rasta. So I'm just telling you. So these people carry the Ankh. I'll get it twisted, These people carry around the Ankh, and they have the power over life and death, you see? Yeah. Okay? And we studied about all these creatures, or all these people who is down here with the Ankh. And all of these weird depiction of animal type to do with birds, dragons, swans, turtles, all of these kind of things that was down here running around before, you understand? Because all these things got meaning. I know it is a lot of celestial bodies out there, and Rasta, everything that happened is for a given reason. That is why we up in symbols and signs. There's people of the moon. Some of them is depicted as of the moon, and this symbol, they wear different things, right? And I'm gonna touch and talk about all these people, you know what I'm saying? Even Dawn, the one who brings the morning, and the one who brings the evening. Even that angel is depicted by a name, you know what I'm saying? And the angel have a name. He carry vessels in that one. The angel that brings the dawn in the morning is a symbol of hope and youth, right? And represent birth. The dawn in the morning is something that's quite special to still Rasta. And we gotta bear that in mind and keep them things in focus. It means dawn also means a new beginning, a new beginning, right? You gotta bear these things in mind. Different angels that carry different depiction. You know, in some culture, oceanic and certain African tribes seems the moon as a fertile male god. Moon. God, fertile male. Some cultures see the moon like that, Rasta. And the moon is depicted with as a man standing carrying the Ankh in his hand, and he also have a head like a lion. Like this thing here, the moon, God, the one who is the moon, the thing that they built captured the personality of the moon. Even if you don't wanna believe in these things, okay? Carries a lion's face. Okay, and the Ankh is in his hand, and on his head there's that sun disk is on his head. Okay, or probably in this case it would be the moon disk. The disk is on his head. Okay, and that is the moon god. That's the goddess, but that's just from the Egyptian depiction. Other cultures say different things, okay? And whichever force or whichever star sign you want to work under, you can work and make things happen too. But my study is to do with the Egyptians and the Africans, because the reason why I'm studying on them is that they're bearing the origin books. They have the original books. That is why I am bearing studies with the Egyptians and the Africans. Those people have the wall that carry the hieroglyphs, and you can go and read them and tell you what the hieroglyphs is saying as a depiction to let you know. Very fertile as the queen in heaven, the Virgin Mary is associated with the moon. Lunar. Because you hear the word lunar, don't get frightened. You understand? Lunar deities range from protective mother figure, okay, to virgin gods. Yeah, so what they really did at that time too is that those guys walking around with the Ankh on the wall that you see is depicted there. What really happened is that they're gonna become extinct and they're gonna go off of the planet and go into their world. But what's gonna happen before they go back into their world, the dimension? They're gonna show mankind some things. Because they start to show mankind some things before they went back into the world, they start live with the man like they've been doing before again in the time of Eve and them, which is in that same time zone again I'm in. They start to live with the man them. So they bear some children, and the children was born, and when the children born as giants and Nephilim. That's what they're born as, right? Giants. And they're mentioned in Genesis. You can go and check them out if you really want to go and see what's going on there. And because these giants was born, they were still God bodies, okay? Don't get it twisted. They were still God bodies, although that there was, because remember the bloodline is going to be strong because the blood is staying with origin. And it's a kind of not to say abomination, but it's kind of like an they're gonna inbreed in the body, and they did have kids, and the giants was born, and the Nephilim was born, and they was down here, and those giants used to be like Superman because there was from the celestial body, which is a different entity than this earth. Right? And because of that, they used to grow tall. These giants that born with the men that carry in the zoo like bodies with the head, with the sun disk and the animal goat head and goat foot and horse body and crocodile scales on body, and these depiction or horse or snakes, these depictions is of that zoo-like, and that is celestial from beyond. Remember, those came down from the heavens to impregnate children born that was giants. Remember, when the children born, they had parents, they had mother and father. Some people don't want to accept that. They just think, well, oh, Goliath was just out there just like that. No, there was a colony of Goliaths. There was a lot of them. There was. Picture this. Let me step out of Goliath for a minute, because we're right there at Goliath. Right? Are we Goliath already? That's what we're talking about. We're at Goliath. Right? And we talk about the entities of body that impregnate, and these people have parents. So I'm taking the time out to show you how it is that is depicted that parents was in this. Imagine this. You have Superman, right? And you have like 200 Superman or 5,000 Supermen in one community, and you have all of those Supermen there, right? And all of them is not good. Some of them is bad. It's just like a village or a community of people, right? All of them ain't good. Some of them is bad, right? Now you got thieves, you got murderers, you got junkers, you got some of everybody. You have some of everybody who's there, and you have drunkard, you have delinquent people, you got teenagers that doesn't want to hear, but they're Superman, and you live down here, and they have their village somewhere like a couple hours drive away from your house, maybe 1, 2, 3 hours away from your house. They have the place that far away. It doesn't even have to be that far. Okay, they just live in the next province or the next parish or the next city or away from you, if you understand what I'm saying. Or they could even be a little far, dude. They could be another country, another island, or even another planet, because it's Superman. They get around the place. They circle the whole thing 7 times in 1 second, and they circle the whole globe 7 times in 1 second. Bear that in mind. Let that go on your record. Celestial. That means that they belongs to a different entity than in this world, like Superman. So I'm saying that Superman now gone out there, and all these brothers and sisters he may have, and they're being drunkard and all of that. Okay, you have your house and your family, and one of these Supermen just let's take it off of Superman. One of these creatures that is of giants just come and fly through your house and tear up the whole house, like just blow it down, like a tornado pass through and rip through and it's gone. And it did that for like, it ripped through 5,000 houses, 5 houses, 6 houses, but it's gone. So when an entity like that come and gone, just like the wind, how do you catch it? The weather is predictable when it's going to do that, but these giants wasn't predictable when they was going to run through and mash up people's place. You see what I'm saying? So that's why I take the time out to show you how, if you had all these bizarre superheroes in the place, how it would have been for us humans. And that's how it was then. So we have to take the time out to remember that that is how it was then. Special children was born, and the power was in the earth, and the giants, the Nephilims, came down and they was here. No, a giant, no, what I'm talking about is not 13 feet above high, like just about 7 inches or 7 feet above me. That's what I'm talking about. These giants was 30, 40 feet up in the air. 30, 40 feet up in the air. That's how tall these giants were. Okay? One of these giants' head was big like a car. You understand what I'm saying? One of the giants' head was big like a car. When the giants pass and leave a footprint, it's like somebody took a bus that you drove down the road in and just drop it there on your house. Boom! That's the feet of these giants that I'm talking about, Nephilim. And these people was in the earth, giants, and there was in before we in the animal zoo type creatures, and there was after us. Because if I'm talking about Nephilims now, you know that I would be in the book of Numbers, Deuteronomy, in the days of Moses, because Moses saw giants in his time. And after Moses, as I speak about before in the last rundown of the show, Moses saw giants in his time. And Moses, I ain't get to Moses yet, but I just want for the people them who need to know that within the Bible have bear records of the Nephilim. The same family base, gigantic celestial earthbound man. This have bear record that did happen. And Moses went and sent to spy out the land of Canaan. Okay. Moses went and spied out the land of Canaan. Check Numbers 13 for yourself, people. I'm going to turn there because I have the Bible right here. Check Numbers 13 and see what Numbers 13 tells you. And if in the ending you would nevertheless the people that be strong that dwell in the land and in the city walls, they was very great. And moreover it saw the children of Ankh, the Anunnaki. They saw the children of Ankh. Okay, that there was Almanic, Almaniti dwelling in the land south of the Hittites and the Moabites, the Moabites and the Amorites, and in the mountain of Canaan. Yeah, and in the mountain of Canaan dwell by the sea. In the mountain of Canaan dwell by the sea, and in the mountain of Canaan dwell by the sea, and by the course of Jordan. All the people before Moses said, "Let's go at once and pass it, for we will be to overcome it." But the men that went up with him said, the men that went up with Moses said, "We be not able to go up against the people of there are stronger than we." Not only stronger in lifting up, in all aspect. This is Moses that carrying the rod and the effort, the power. Moses carried the rod and the power, and he sent out his prophets and his soldiers, and they came back and said, "Those people over there are stronger than us." And they were stronger than them, because there was giants, the Nephilims and the Anunnakis. There we are, the Nephilim and the Anunnakis, and they brought up an evil and report of the land. And they brought up an evil report of the land, which they had searched into the children of Israel, right? Saying, "The land thou which have gone to search it, it is the land that eat up the inhabitants thereof, and all the people that we saw in it are men, and all the people that we saw in it are men of great stature, men not like me, not this, not that, not that, not that. That all that is ordinary, not like that. Great statue, okay? And there were and there we saw the giant sons of Ankh come down to be the Anunnakis. Ankh is one, but the tribe will be Anunnakis. This is Ankh. This is the one. But that is where the Anunnaki tribe is coming from. Okay, right, people? And this is based on the Bible. I mean Numbers, and this is Numbers 13:33. Numbers 13:32 to 33 will tell you the truth on where we at in our program. But that was to do with after the flood. After the flood, Moses saw these things, and these things was after the flood. Moses lived after the flood. Now, after Moses was David. I ain't gonna get ahead of myself. David also saw giants too, because David fought with Goliath. So even if you didn't believe me only while we're coming, you still heard that Moses send his soldiers, his prophets or his whatever, his boys over there, and they came back and report that man was being treated like grasshoppers, thrown around. Men was thrown around like grasshoppers. You understand? That is what that's the record that they're beard. That is the record that they bear when they went over there and come back. The men was eating men and they was throwing them around. Please take your time and read Numbers. Now around 5000 BC, we Homo sapiens was, people try to say we was genetically engineered in the Euphrates River side over there. Megatonic, a high concentration of megatonic gold is being found there. The Anunnaki Empire, they say, was looking for this monotonic gold because it is good for their bodily function. It stops aging and it's constructive metal. And if you put electricity through this metal, for example, you won't lose any frequency going that way or coming that way. Whatever it put out is whatever it holds within. 100% out, 100% in. So when they use this liquid inside of them, when they use the monotonic gold, it makes inside act like a quantum drive, like a super highway. You understand? All of your senses intact now, and you can use the parts of your brain that you don't normally use. That is monotonic gold. That is what the Anunnakis came down here to reap, people. You can become telepathic by using this kind of source of gold. You can make stuff move. You can lift stones up to 3 jumbo jet plane size that a crane up to this present moment cannot lift. Anunnaki, the reptiles, the Argarians, the Greys, and the Greys from Zero Zicchacula. Their empire include races like the reptoids, the Argarians, powerful people that was not like man. They didn't forge things with hands. They forge things with mind power and there know things in a scientific, mathematical, geometrical setting. That's how they know things. These people know what we know today as technology. Okay, these people, the Anunnakis and the people that carry the Ankh, is the people or the first like creature closest to man, or should I say, yes, closest to man, bring the depiction and bring technology to mankind. And they've been using their technology for a long time, and we just came out of Adam. Okay, we went beyond the atom. The atom is the atom before Adam. That is, when you go beyond that is what you find back there. That is what scientists is trying to do. No, go beyond whatever. And so they went beyond it the other day, and they made gold. First time. They went beyond. We create fusion beyond quartz. Beyond time. They went into different, and they create gold. Kind of alchemist, the word Solomon used to deal with that. These same people, the Anunnakis I'm talking about, their deal with that same gold. Murdoch was an Anunnaki. Check out that name on history page, Marduk. Check him out and see what he has said. Check out Thor too and see what he has said, Thor, and see what he's saying out there in history. Check out these people, check out these Anunnaki. These people that was in the earth, okay? And like I said, it was very powerful. Not powerful because they had a lot of money, but I mean powerful in such a way that they could have created wind to blow from over there and make it blow this way. Wind doesn't, but they make it blow that way. And if they feel like they make wind blow that in the eastern, in the different direction that it shouldn't have been blowing. So they can make hurricanes, they can make storms, they can. I can't even. Let me try to depict like 5 things that they can do to make the thing to top it up. Let me depict 5 things that would be very major. Okay. Now the Anunnakis. Remember, these people is people that dealing with technology. Remember, the people of the Ankh is right there too as well. Let me people that can lay down life and take down life. Now what are they doing down here? What are they doing down here? They have these wings to fly around with, and they have this animal head and this sun disk. What are they doing down on this planet? Make you telepathic. You can see the past or the future. Okay, that's what that goal used to do. Make them be able to see the past and the future. The Anunnaki is the name of the empire. The reptoids is there. The Argarians is there. The Nordics, because of the human looks, the Nordics look like human, and the Greys, them is the ones like ET, like alien, like the extraterrestrial ones, like them is called Greys. Still connected to Anunnaki. They used to get the gold, and the gold is close to seawater. This gold carry 8 atoms per molecule, Rasta. You can understand this. The monotonic elements inside of this. Man, Rasta. This knowledge, scientists yet not have yet get to this, you know. The Anunnaki took a man. They tried to say the Anunnaki took a man. Take out a part of the rib, okay? That's just because the rib is a part of the human body that can be extract without killing the person, you know. Enough bone marrow is in that bone. Anunnaki knew this. They knew this, and the Anunnaki knew this. Over 5,000 years BC. Okay? These people came down to look for monotonic gold. This gold is special and precious. The highest concentration of this is found in Hawaii right now. The Anunnakis, they was on a quest to find this gold, because this thing can repair their body function and give them energy. Monotonic gold is a superconductive agent. It means that if you transport electricity through a line, it won't lose no energy when it gets over there. The same energy it sends there, the same energy that it brings back. So it is very strong to be a conductor. Okay? Apply that to your brain. It's a huge sensical electrical machine, a very sensical electrical machine. This means that if you're supposed to put this in there, all of your senses would be activated. The parts of your brain that you don't use will just kick in. There's your memory. Now you can better understand. Now you can sense evil. Now you can become telepathic. Now you know things now. Right? That is why the Anunnakis came down here to reap the stock of this gold. Okay? I ain't giving deity to nobody. Who knows if it was good or if it was bad or if there was the Antichrist. But what we're trying to find out is the depths to when everything started. The Argarians. Who is the Argarians or the Nordics or the Greys? Do you know these different races of aliens or different extraterrestrial beings? Do you know of any? It is not true, huh? Until the day when it's being unearthed right in front of your face. Rasta, start going looking for the facts of your own for this time zone. Start looking for the facts, Rasta. The multi-atomic stuff. It's like uranium or titanium or platinum. Not the same members of body. They like things like platinum, gold, uranium, titanium, plutonium. We know what all those things can do. That's like having your own power plant or your own nuclear plant. Or what do we do with nuclear energy in these times? We send rocket to Mars, right? We send rocket to Mars in these times. With that kind of energy, that's what we take that energy and do. Send rockets away. Deal with weapons of mass destructions and power plants and so on. But we're using it for power. And those people used to deal with that kind of metal, not only gold. Gold is what we find that it was most likely interested in, but it was other monotonic energies and properties to do with the solar system that they were looking for that we don't know. But that is what gives them the brain power that we understand. We don't understand how the stones was lifted into pyramids today. Scientists cannot understand. They cannot tell you how those stones was done. Even if all of us in the world today gear up to go and do it, we can do it, maybe, with a maybe, but it's not going to be geographically, or it's not going to be geometrically. It's not going to be geometrically aligned or in line as it was from those days when it was done with acoustics or even meditation. Music is high. Vibration is very, very, very high, people. So let's accept the fact that higher beings was here before us. We're gonna take out the part that there was gods, but bear in mind that there was God bodies, because God said He alone is gonna take all of the glory. He shared His glory with nothing or with no man, and to set no graven image in front of Him. And today, by Rasta Colony, no graven image is in front of the Holy One. Power to the Trinity of Jah Rastafari per earth in this millennium. The truth is going to unfold, people. Know it before the pyramids have to be reactivated again, because they're still there. And Isaiah bears the record of God, holy pillar in the center of Egypt. Go to Egypt, check the center. Go to the world, check the center of the world. That's why Jah of Himself said, Ethiopia here, Ethiopia should be the headquarter. Ethiopia should stretch forth her hands. Jah said so, because Ethiopia is the beginning. All the monotonic gold is there. All of the cube of stones to do with diamond or any kind of minerals that you're looking for is there in Ethiopia. That's why that is Jah headquarters. And Rasta, we there right there behind Jah, about Jah 1000%. You understand? Because it's Jah Rastafari, the ancient man in the modern time. Don't be fooled, people. Study for yourself and find out. Rasta Colony, you know, we know these things. Rasta, we're gonna unearth all. The symbol for human DNA resembles the word Yah, but it looks like it's a coincidence, huh? Human DNA spells the word Yah with a dot here and a dot there, and if you connect all the dots in the spelling, you get Y-A-H, Yah, as for Yahweh, God. That's in the DNA, in the genetic code inside the human beings. You understand? The Ark of the Covenant. The Ark of the Covenant. It was over in Samaria. The Sumerians. Study the Sumerians. Not the Ark of Noah. Not that Ark. The Ark of the Covenant. Okay? The one that can levitate, that can cause you to levitate and move stones and put the pyramids in place. The same ones that come up with the spinning energy. Monotonic gold, the Ark of the Covenant, monotonic gold, people. The Holy Grail, monotonic gold. The Holy Grail. When did Jesus touch that gold cup, that Holy Grail? Why? What's up with the Holy Grail? Was the Holy Grail really gold? Why did gold again come back and being something divine to do with the Savior? I was taught that Holy Grail was divine from ever since that time. and it always move west, and it always will keep moving west, and the people who own it will never give it away. Great care is taken to preserve this thing, man. The whole of the earth gain great knowledge and a lot of cheese. Go back and study some bloodlines. 9 different angels he saw up there. Alright? First, highest order. These angels hold the highest order. Okay? The seraphim is the first one we're gonna depict. Then we're going to the cherubims. I think you could see there's another one here that we can talk about too as well. It's called the throne room. Okay, we talk about there's about 9 different angels about there depicted, right? There's the throne room, there's a dimension, there is the power, okay, there's principality, there's archangels, and there's angels of itself. Angels is a total different thing than an archangel. It's different. Don't think that an angel and an archangel is different. The difference between them is that this one here is the one, the arch, is the one that's like unto God. That is the archangel right there, the one who is like unto God. And you've got the cherubims, right? And you have principalities. All these is different entities up there. Remember, talk about what John saw up in there. This is in the Holies of Holies, okay? And this is, you can go find all of this is in Isaiah 2 as well. He bear a record of this. Same thing in Isaiah 6:3, right? The Lord of Hosts is in the Holies of Holies. Isaiah talked about that. You can go and look up that for your own self. But John says he is gone into heaven and is on the right hand of God. Never come down. He is on the right hand of God right now, after any time to do with the last time. So if anything was to fly out of the sky, don't be confused, because these things is to be released already, and in time to come. Remember, the Father said that he have shown stars unto Enoch, and Enoch bears record of places that he and Melchizedek took him and show him ends of the earth. But every time Enoch meet out an angel, he always asks them their name, and specifically he write down their names. Some of them he couldn't get the name, but one of them showed him where all of the stars is being kept. The one which when God called them into being, existence, fuse everything by word, because song is power, and Jah called these things into existence, and they refused from coming into existence, right? So what Jah did being that these things refused from coming into existence, is he locked them off and he barred them into a room, and these things will be released. We don't know who else is there with these things and who is acquiring these things or using these things or living amongst these things, getting on to board these things, but these things will be released, because all of this is to do with prophecy, and the Bible ain't lie. And this is Rastafari going upon documents and bearing these records that God's word ain't wrong. We in Genesis, you can check out the irrelevance to do with Isaiah and Peter. He is gone into heaven and into the right hand of God. The angel and the authority of God. The angel and the authority of God. Angel and authority and power being made subject. So all of them other angels, the Anunnakis, and any man with the Ankh there is the ones that carry the power, making people think that they're gods. But then terrific things to still leave the patronization behind. I can't give deity to nobody but the God of salvation. You know, the one that saves, the one that makes the difference, the one that brings purity to clarity. That is the one we're talking about. Remember, it says, and the angel and authority and power being made subject unto him. 1 Peter 3:22 says that. Okay? This is what John is saying, you know. This is what John is saying now. Christ then sent his angel with the message to the servant John. John, remember what John saw in the Holies of Holies was when he looked at God, because remember again, Christ then sent. Which Christ? The mystical one. You understand? The Messiah, Yeshua, that one. Christ then sent his angel with the message to his servant John. I am the Alpha and Omega, the one who is and was and is again to come. I am God, all powerful, he said. He is God, all powerful. He is the Alpha and the Omega. No power being made, all other power being made subjects. There's a lot of other different powers. There's a lot of different energy. It speaks of the veil or the vril energy. Nobody can use it better than the man who it was made for. We're talking about the Almighty, the all-powerful being, the one who can speak everything in existence and then again can re-speak back everything and make everything. That one is the one that we're talking about, okay? And John went up there to say, you know, these kind of things, right? He bear these records, and I turned to see who I was speaking to, right? John said he turned to see who he was speaking to. He saw 7 gold lampstands. This is in the Holies of Holies, right? If they want to find out who's God, find out about all of these things, because you can't go into Revelation, unearth Genesis, you can't go into Genesis and unearth Genesis and then you didn't give a depiction of who he said he was in the ending, because who he was in the beginning is who he is in the ending. Remember, the Alpha and the Omega are going to make sure that come up. The Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end. You understand? No other man can take this title. No other. He would not share this with nobody. He said he would not share his blessings. He said he not share it with man. His divinity belong to him. Bear that in mind. I'm talking about the one that hold the 7 crystal stars in his hands, sitting right there at the Father's feet, whereby the Father's feet is melting like bronze, fire, gold, metal, a furnace. That's what John saw at the feet of the Father. So bear that in mind, that the all-powerful being as well come back again and made out of some gold material. The omnipotent one again in Revelation was seen as like metal in explanation by someone who had to go and bear record and come back and say everything that he have seen. And he document that when he went up there, the Father's feet, the cherubims was there, the angels was there, 6 of them singing to Jah. The Son is right there. The one who's like unto him, the archangel again, is right there. So all man, all things is being made subject unto that one. When he was there, the feet of him, like I'm saying, was made of bronze, metal, fire, burning. You can't wear your boots there. You can't go there in heels. It's a fiery place. That's why he told Moses to don't be frightened because you see fire. You understand? That means he was invited. But if you're not invited, how can you go and walk over there in your boots and you see it's melting metal? But you have been taught that the bones of these angels have been made out of metal too as well. You're speaking of Anunnaki, these things is out of this world. Do you believe me that the bones of the angels or even God of himself could have been made out of gold or even silver? Do you believe that? You have to follow the facts. I have the knowledge here. The bones was made out of metal. Okay? Why was there digging, looking for all of that monotonic, looking for all of that monotonic gold down there? Why was the Anunnakis looking for that monotonic gold? Because, and then they say again that the divine, this is in Genesis on top of, this is in Revelation on top of Revelation now. That he come back again, down there again, and said for himself that as God, he saw the feet of God in Revelation here. John the Baptist bear record on that. And I bear in the same record that John the Baptist bear, that he says, as a Rasta man, ancient man in modern time Rasta, we there up at all ends. You understand? We declare truth, Rasta. We declare truth. We declaring truth. Hear this. Ancient man in modern time, John said that he saw the feet of Jah, and the feet of Jah was like bronze. So you can't go there. Okay, I'm gonna stop depicting the feet because I was at Jah feet for a long time. Okay, I'm gonna come up above. Remember, the cherubims is right there. Jah is in the middle, eh? And the 6 cherubims is right there, and they have 6 wings. 2 lap below, 2 lap in the middle, and 2 lap above, okay? And you have 6 creatures like that right there. And God of himself, the being who's melting like fire, who's like on a fire like a furnace, is right there. John said when he went up into the holies of holies, he saw something that is looking like a creature again. Like in front of it was a man. Here, man was projected in front of it, and on the side of it, he said he saw a lion face. A lion face was projected. A lion face was projected on top of it. Okay, he said he saw a lion face. Lion face was projected on top of on the side, and on the other side, he said he saw something like a bird. A bird, but in all of these events, as it turned to the 4 sides, he saw different characters to do with different things. This is in Revelations in the Bible to do with John, what he saw to come and what it looks like in the present. Because remember, the higher being walked down here amongst men, and they're take up men already off of the planet, written in scrolls, not scrolls that was like newly discovered. I sit down with New Testament and Old Testament in my pocket, going places, traveling, and those books bear those records, man. So John saw all of these different creatures from different faiths. So when you're gonna go and tell me, man, all of this thing is demonic, when the church is gonna say that this is demonic, that all of these bird faiths, how comes in their same book then, how comes in their same Bible that they still have it, that a bird face was depicted, an animal face was depicted, a horse face was depicted, a lion face was depicted, and then yet still Pharaoh come back on his wall and show me on his hieroglyph that a bird face was depicted? How come she could have bear a record here, right here, written upon stone, in a wall upon stone, so that it can't be mashed up? We can say, man, it is the devil. Rasta, we got to stop looking at things from devil all the time. I try to look at everything as very omnipotent, man. I don't know what is the answers to these things, Rasta. I can't come down to no answers, because everything was done in perception. So how could I unfold perception? I just want us to bear in mind. I just want us to bear these things in mind, Rasta. It's no folly going on here. There's no folly. We have to bear these things in mind and know who the Triumph is. The Triumph is man. The Triumph is not man. The Triumph doesn't share his glory. The Triumph
doesn't share his glory. Okay? The triune don't share his glory. We would say before man, Noah came across the world to save the world, and Noah made the difference. But the giants would say after Noah, before Noah, but Noah was pure bred. Noah was very pure. He keep his line. But the Nephilims came back into the earth again, seeking gold. Cause you know they like to, you know the Nephilims like the gold. You understand? That's why we're in shell. You see. But when the angels come back into the earth, as it was in the beginning, it's still so it's going to be in the end, right? People are going to get confused in the ending and don't know the difference. So John says feet was going down like bronze and it was like a burning fire. That's Jah feet was like a fire. That is what he said he saw. Jah's feet, God's feet, Jehovah's feet, the omnipotent feet, Allah feet, whoever you want to call him, Rasta. We live in different continents, different places of the world. Feel comfortable with your God. Nobody, I can't give you permission to feel comfortable with your God. Nobody shouldn't give nobody no permission. You understand? But everybody should praise something. Look for that higher being, that higher one. You know what I'm saying? And pay homage to that omnipotent one. Okay? To that omnipotent one, people. Pay tribute to the omnipotent one. So John says that he was wearing a robe, that God of himself was wearing a robe. All right, this is what John says was happening. Right, we're gonna bear, all of us is gonna bear a record for Rasta Colony to know that John said he saw him wearing a robe. Right, and he speak to me. I saw, when I turned to see who was speaking to me, I saw 7 gold lampstands. There with the lampstands was someone who seems to be the Son of Man. He was wearing a robe. He was wearing a robe. This is what John said the Son of Man was wearing. Robe that reached down to the feet, and a gold cloth was wrapped. A gold cloth was wrapped around his chest, and his head and his hair was white as wool or snow, and his eyes looked like flames of fire. His feet were glowing like bronze being heated in a furnace, and his voice sounded like the roar of waterfalls. He had 7 stars in his hand, and a sharp, double-edged sword. From his mouth, his face was shining as bright as the sun at noon. Don't be afraid. This is what John said. He said to him, don't be afraid. I am the first, hope the first. I am the first and the last and the living one. I died, but now I am alive. Sounds familiar. I died, but now I am alive. I have the keys of death in the world of the dead. Write what you have seen. And write what you have seen and what is and what will happen after the things that I have explained, the mystery of the 7 stars that you saw at my side, and the 7 gold lampstands. The 7 stars
or the 7 angels of the 7 churches. Consider Lalabella. Look at Vatican. Powerful. And there's many more down in there. Romans and many others. Powerful as considers to be like angel. 7-star jar Holy Church is one of them. We saw that here in Revelation. Okay. The 7 stars are the angel of the 7 churches, and the lampstand are the 7 churches. Ephesus, this is what you must write to the angels of the church in Ephesus. I am the one who holds the 7 stars in my right hand, and I walked amongst the 7 gold lampstands. Listen to what I say. I am the one who holds the 7 stars in my right hand, and I walk amongst the 7 gold lampstands. Listen to what I say. That is what John says that the angel have said to him when he went in to the holies of holies and saw Jah sitting on the throne, with the throne being placed on rings looking like big circular rings with eyes on it, and the eyes forever going around and around and seeing all. I remember Metatron, the archangel, sits in the back as a scribe to record all of those eyes. Despite all of those eyes is spinning, picture this. There's 4 circular like stuff wheels like this in front of here where Jah is sitting on the holies of holies. 4 circular. And then in the back there's another 4, right? Because it's like a table up in the air, and I only have 2 hands, so there's 2 here, but there's another 2 imaginary, right? And what is holding up these is 2 circles, and on those 2 circles there's eyes going around like that. On those circles there's 7 eyes that go around and see everything. And there's circles, but circle goes like that, and circle can go like that too. Some picture circle is going like this, and circle is going like that. So what these eyes miss, these eyes is sketchy too as well. Plus, the scribe is in the background bearing record of everything, and the one that have the power, Michael the Archangel, is standing there with the 7 other angels to call up, the watchers. The other watchers, Samuel, Raphael, Uriel, Sataniel, Metatron, Camuel, all of these people here, Michael and Gabriel. All of these people, all of the other angels here, he have all of their crystals there in his hand. You see how the crystals comes in very important again? So you must get a crystal stone. It doesn't have to be that expensive thing. You don't have to thief nobody thing. Get a stone that you think is crystal and keep it. Power is universal. Why Jah is holding those in his hand? You don't want to hold a crystal in your hand? One day will come that Jah will give you a crystal. Don't worry. So, in the whole thing of what John saw, the best thing that I can tell everybody out there, the best thing is love. Okay? Love God. Respect the fact. Open up your subconsciousness. Bear that awareness that there's a God. Okay, and remember up here, we're not giving the deity to anybody to say that Godship belongs to this person or Godship belongs to that person. We're not giving nobody no deity. If any deity will be given, I would just say back Michael the Archangel, what his translation is really meaning. Who is like unto God's kindness. That is Michael's definition. I would give deity to him. He can be the same Yeshua, because remember this is God bodies and they like to transform. I don't know why, but they like to transform, right? So even if he's Michael, and even if he's Jesus or Yeshua or Horus or Thor, but we give praises to the higher being, because it's so much the history have been lost through generations. And there's churches or other denominations or other belief system or other governmental heads that would let you to believe just one thing. Don't believe one thing, go and stretch your brain to find out what could have really happened here and who could have been responsible for making those hieroglyphs and all of those atoms put together to make man, the pattern on the clay with spinning around, breathing into the nostrils of man and giving man the insight and the technology to move rocks from one place to another place and to also sculpture sphinx out of rocks, right? That was some divine work, and we know that was divine work. Rasta Colony, we're gonna keep it divine. Bear in mind that there was a lot of goddess out there, like I said already before. Mama is a goddess, Isis is a goddess, you know what I'm saying? And there's a lot of goddess, so we're gonna keep respecting the women, and we know that they had an intricate role to play in modernizing everything. And we want the women to keep strong, because you got to remember that it is the women that the Nephilims first came down with and saw them and went and be with them. So picture if they was to come back again, is the women ready to sustain themselves from not taking on a heavenly horse? You know what I'm saying? If we fly down or whatever, it's something exciting like that gonna be on to the women of this generation, which in the Bible have bear record and to do with prophecies that these things will happen again. The world is a time bomb. The fumes have long been lit. The 4 horsemen of the apocalypse is gonna be back. The 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, Rasta. So I'm asking if the women out there, our Rasta sisters and hydrants, if they're really ready, the daughters of Zion, you know, the ones them, the empress and the queens them, the daughters of the earth, women of Jerusalem. We want to know. The question too is if the men ready too as well, because sometimes we're so burdened by other things. Okay, but we give praises that the higher beings was in the earth. And we respect all source and Rasta colony. We respect the truth. We respect sex. We respect male. We respect female. We respect the fact that the giants came down here and they came out of a different breed, a different race, and they impregnated the rats, the cats, anything that they could have impregnated. And we respect the fact that we have this knowledge to know these things, and I must share this knowledge. As soon as I get this knowledge, I can't hold on this knowledge or forbid not to know that I got this knowledge. You understand? Because our ancestors knew more things that we give them more credit for. We should give our ancestors more credit. You understand? More credit, you know, in religion or in life or in the universe. They know universal thing. They know astrology. They know astronomy. There was advance in mathematics, there was advance in magnetics, there was advance in healing, there was advance in the unseen forces. There was unseen and there was advance in dealing with unseen forces, right? And encoding knowledge and information that is puzzling to us. And this is symbols and sign right now that is in plain sight today, you know. You know? We can just fail to realize, we just failing to realize the knowledge that is known to the small handful of people. And this kind of knowledge is being kept from people about the atom of man and what the universe is really made of. The universe does... Listen, what the universe is made of is some serious frequency, man, and vibration. The substance of the universe is consciousness. Love, and love conquers it all. Love is up there, going on up there, as above is so below. It's so below. Okay? You got the healing code already. You got the keys of love. You know what I'm saying? You know, Osiris was the god of the underworld. So we can't deal with Osiris being God of the underworld, because remember in John said again that he was God of the dead, and he have the key. He went down there and he reincarnated again. He was dead, but now he is alive. So I don't know what Osiris is saying, if he's saying the same thing. But I give him power to the one who John saw, which is the same one Enoch saw. Because Enoch ride with the angels, and Enoch take record of the angels by name. Enoch reveal about 3 more different angels that John didn't reveal. And Enoch was in Ethiopia. His business was found on the Dead Sea Scrolls in Ethiopia, written in Ethiopic. You got to go back to Job. You got to go back to Job and check. There was a time when the sons of men projected itself before God for accounting, just to give accounting to God. I don't have to give accounting. Check Genesis 6:4. There were giants, Nephilims in the earth, and those days there also after that, when the sons of man come into the daughters of man. The sons of God come into the daughters of man. You understand? And the Bible mentioned that in Genesis 6:4. Right? And they talk about the genetic code that they're going to be dealing with genetic modification, which they're trying to modify, and man already have the DNA code, and the DNA code may not be seen from there, but it's like that. That is the DNA code right there. That is the DNA code. And it says what? Yeah. It says yeah, which meaning Yahweh. That is the genetic code here of God. That is the genetic code of God, okay? And God rules the universe and the nature of God of himself. God rules everything. Because remember this, in the Ethiopian church of itself, right, is the oldest in the world. Me and you know that, right? It's the oldest in the world, and also it is date back to centuries AD. The Orthodox Christian was made the official religion of the Aksumite. The Aksumite kingdom, present day Ethiopia region, Integra over the land. Centuries of Christian has shaped the people psyche, as well as the landscape of Tigray, where hundreds of churches and monasteries have been erected and carved right out in the face of mountains. So religion was bountiful in Ethiopia or in ancient Egypt. That is where the same Philip, the disciple of Jesus, to do with the same, come back again to Enoch. Christ was supposed to be born through royal seed, and they're trying to tell me that the devil tried to contaminate that seed by sending a lot of things down here that we can't depict it or we can't understand. In all of the bad, that was good. So the bad was down here, and Jah had to come down, and Jah did came down because his children was down here behaving bad. His offsprings was down here. The ones that he put up to be above break the law, they didn't want to be up there. They leave the firmament, they leave the home. But they prophesied the serpent will bruise the heel of the woman. They prophesy, and it's not the first time that the serpent came to bruise the heel of the woman. The serpent was bruising the heel of other fishes out there in the sea and other animals. It was warfare in heaven. Thunderbolt and kick out and big things happen in heaven that hurt Jah, and Jah reincarnate, man. Jah reincarnate. Enough people don't want to take it as then Jah reincarnate himself because they say no, Jah doesn't change. Jah said he's not destroying the world by a flood anymore, but he destroy it by a you see how Jah changed here? And that's not only how Jah changed. I don't want to hurt up my brain. That's how Jah changed. Jah changed himself as time goes by. If anybody know about God, they know that God evolved, but his words remains the same. Okay? And he and his son is the same. Right? And it's time that Jah had to stretch forth his hands personally and reach the ones. Thank to Talman and all of them men know them things too. Mighty men, men of renown, men of old, angel. It means the fallen ones. The ones them who comes down in here, the ones them that we talking about on this program. There was a hybrid offspring, Rasta. There was DNA, was like clones, like the same thing that was to happen in the past. It's gonna happen again. Half human, half angel, but half human, half something else in a minute from now. Cause we cloning. It says as it was in the days of Noah, it's gonna be in this time. Okay? So if the Nephilim decided that they're gonna come back into the earth, okay? What are we gonna do if they decide that we're gonna come back, that they're gonna come back into the earth, Rasta? Let's take this off. I'm getting hot, man. Pay respect to Christ. Bear the record that John bear. Bear the record that Enoch bear. Bear the record that all the disciples bear, and know who is God for your own self. Rasta Colony only can go so far to document these things. So all of these gods before, who they say was before time, we pay homage to. No pagan, but the heavenly host, the one who have the power over everything. We give praises and respect to that one. All of the other ones, them who was around the earth before, who fused time and who had magic and who was genies independently from God, he says that he have the power. He alone can bring everything onto his subject. Okay? He alone can bring everything onto his subject. Okay? All things is made subject unto Jah.